Hello everyone, I hope you guys are all having a fabulous Monday. Welcome to Minks Monday 200. 200, oh my goodness, this is insanity and it's all because of you. So a huge thank you to each and every one of you for sticking with me all these years and enjoying this series as much as I do. Alright, so before we get into it, let me share the bag that I'm currently rocking, and that is the Louis Vuitton Speedy 30 Classic in the Mon Mono. Alright, so grab your coffee, grab your tea, let's start your workout, let's go to work, let's do your laundry, whatever it is that you do, come join me. We have some awesome topics to cover today. Okay, so because this is 200, as you can tell from the balloons behind me, I wanted to snazz things up a bit. I asked you guys a while ago what you wanted me to do to commemorate this milestone, and I had a lot of great suggestions. I really wanted to do the live feed, but because it is a Monday, everyone's schedule is going to be all over the place. I did get the suggestion from my very good friend Chateau Chic to revisit Minks Monday #1, and a lot of you guys like that idea, especially to see if my answers have changed from the questions that I got back then. So I do have the questions from Minks Monday #1. I really hope that you guys enjoy it, but let's jump right in, shall we? All right, question number 1. If I could have only one Chanel and one Louis Vuitton bag, which ones would they be? Back then, I answered the Chanel Jumbo, which was my holy grail, and the Speedy 30 Demi-Azur. All right, so the Speedy 30 Demi-Azur would still be my Louis Vuitton. You guys know how special this bag is to me. I did get it when we were at the Champs-Élysées Paris Louis Vuitton store, and it just reminds me so much of that trip, our first trip to Paris, so I love it. So that one still stayed the same. Unfortunately, the Chanel Jumbo was my holy grail, but it would not be the one that I would end up sticking with. If it was only one, I would go with the medium large. I've been saying this probably for the last, two and a half years. I love this bag. I love the size. I just love how comfortable it is to be able to carry. So unfortunately, no Jumbo for me. It would be the medium large. So those have changed just a tad. All right, next one. What are you planning on getting for Christmas this year? Any special purchases from Louis Vuitton or Chanel? When I aired the Minks Monday #1, it was September, if I'm not mistaken, September 4th. So it was getting close to Christmas, and well, closer to Christmas. And my answer was not necessarily. For Christmas, I buy for my friends and family, and then if money is left over, I will buy something for myself. I still very much so stand by that, because for me, I love to be able to spoil my friends and family. I mean, Christmas is my all-time favorite holiday. I have so much fun decorating the house, and I tend to go a little crazy. There have been years when I will splurge on myself only after I get what I want to get everyone else, but even then, I'm just always thinking about friends, family, and then, you know, I keep going back constantly to find more things that I can gift them. So, yeah, I mean, if I can get something for myself for Christmas, it'd be great. If not, then no big deal. You know, I'll just wait till like February or March or whatever. Okay, next one. Would you or have you ever owned a piece of Louis Vuitton's Cerise line? So back then I said, I think that they're very fun and cute. I tend to stick to classics. I do appreciate them, but they are not for me. I still stand by that. I think that they are very adorable. I do find them a little too busy, and for the most part, as many of you know, I tend to kind of stay away from limited editions. Sometimes I do worry about the chipping that, what's it called? Oh man, what is it called that the silk screening has? Yeah, I do appreciate them from afar, but just not necessarily for me. So that stayed the same. Number 4, what do you think about individuals who think that the Chanel Camellia is a rose and don't really care about the fact or the amount of work that goes into these luxury goods? Back then I said, some people see them just as a bag to carry their items, but handbag addicts appreciate all the details, including packaging. I still agree with that. Because I think we talked about last week, my mom just sees a handbag, as do many of my friends and family. They're just like, get over it. It's just an overpriced bag or blah, blah, blah. You know, I think all of us have heard that at some point or another from someone. And, you know, they're entitled to their own opinion. That's fine. But for me, and I think for most handbag addicts, we do appreciate those extra details. We do appreciate not only the handbag, but I think that when it comes to packaging, there's, I don't know if it's maybe the rush or maybe just the overall ambiance that you get from opening that item, or just if you had a really great experience at the boutique, I think that it's amplified whenever you go to open your item. You remember that experience. You remember everything about that afternoon. At least I do, you know what I mean? And it always reminds me, oh, you know, I had a great time with whoever I was with, and I got to try on these bags, and the sales associate or the manager or this, that, or whatever it was. So I think it really does amplify your the handbag a little bit more, and it adds maybe a little bit more of a backstory to it. And a lot of you know, that's what I really like about a lot of these handbags. I do appreciate the fashion houses, and I love the history, but I also like the fact that they each tell a story from however they came to be in my collection. So, you know, to each their own. If people think it's just a bag, it's just a bag, that's fine, but we get it. We know what they're about, you know what I'm saying? Okay, next one. Is there a Louis Vuitton bag or Chanel bag that you regret buying or wish you bought instead? Back then I said I regret the croissant bag. The croissant bag. Wish I would have bought the Louis Vuitton Alma GM Vernis in Rose Pop. All right, so has my answer changed? I don't regret buying any bag. And the reason I say that is because it really helps me to pinpoint what it is that works out for my lifestyle now. I might have liked it at one point or another, or maybe it didn't end up working out for X, Y, and Z reasons. But it helps me to really, like I said, to pinpoint what ends up working out for me. And that way moving forward, I can remember, oh, you know, I like this bag, but then I think, oh, well, what about that bag? I didn't like it because it had the same type of detail or whatever it is. So I don't regret any bag, but the croissant bag definitely was not a favorite. Not at all. It was such a pain in the butt to get into. It had like the smallest opening, and the handle was all. And as far as the Louis Vuitton Alma GM in the Vernis Rose Pop, I am madly in love with the Rose Pop collection from Louis Vuitton. It is like the perfect hot pink. It is just bright. It has a blue undertone. It's iridescent. It's absolutely stunning. Would I end up going for the GM? Definitely not, just because it's a very large bag and I am very clumsy, so I will end up bumping into things, no problem, I know that, and I'll end up probably damaging it very quickly. And Vernis, as much as I do appreciate it, it is no longer for me. I haven't had the best experiences with them these last couple of years, but I do appreciate them from afar. Okay, number 6, do I have a Speedy 25? I said no. And it was just that, no. I think now when I do Minks Mondays, I try to give more information. I try to be very, very thorough with each and every question. So back then, I think I answered them in like 20 seconds, but no, I didn't have one. And do I still have one now? No, I have a 25 bandolier, but we'll get into that in just a second. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, shall we? Number 8. What are your thoughts on the Speedy 25 bandolier? All right, so I answered, although I like the Speedy 25 itself, I don't know if I would ever own one. The Speedy B, I am not a very big fan of. We both know, all right? We both know. I was being very nice when I answered that question because I could not stand the Speedy 25 bandolier. However, my thoughts have changed because here it is in my collection. I have eaten my words over, you know, my thoughts on this bag more times than I care to count. I was, like I said, I wasn't a fan. I didn't want to add it to my collection. I was like, no, 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 get it away from me. But then the more and more that I thought about it, the more and more I researched, the more and more I wanted it, and I added it to the wish list, and hubby gifted it to me. So I eat my words because the Speedy 25 bandolier, I think, is a phenomenal, phenomenal handbag. It adds, I mean, it brings so much to the table for the price point that it has, and the fact that you can incorporate it into so many, into various aspects of your lifestyle, I think makes it amazing. Not only that, it brings the cost per wear down even lower, which I'm a big fan of. You know, and just this bag, it's incredible. Very, very versatile. Love it, and Never thought in a million years I would be saying that. So yes, I have eaten my words. All right, I'm wrong. I was wrong about how I felt about the Speed 25. Actually, no, I wasn't wrong because that's how I felt back then, you know, and tastes change and you evolve and that's okay. So even though I don't see it that way anymore, I'm glad that now I see it differently because it does end up working out for my lifestyle. Okay, number 9, what and where do you see yourself in 5 years? Are you materialistic? Would you go into depression if all your designer goods were taken away or gone? All right, I answered, moved to a different part of California. I see us as parents. I am not materialistic. Natural disaster. I would be more worried if my family was okay. Bags you can replace, but people you can never replace. So no, I would not go into depression if my designer goods were taken away or gone. All right, so this one has changed a tad. And what and where do I see myself in 5 years? You know, we've been here a long time. I know that my husband and I have been talking about, you know, moving either to Washington or Oregon for the last couple of months, for the last couple of years. That's really where we see ourselves. But I do like California. Like I said, I think that we've been here a little too long, but you never know. We are obviously not parents, but well, scratch that because we are parents to an amazing, amazing fur kid named Edward Phillip. And I'm going to try my hardest to have him come into the room. I know the lights might freak him out a little bit, but he was on Minks Monday #1. I just saw his tail wagging in the background. So it would be really awesome if he can join us. So not parents to a baby per se, but a fur kid, yes. And am I materialistic? I don't consider myself to be materialistic. Yes, I do like designer goods, but I don't try to have them dominate my lifestyle or my life, if you will. I see them as really beautiful handbags, extraordinary craftsmanship. And as far as going into depression, if all my designer goods were taken away or gone, if it was a natural disaster like a fire, I think I would be bummed out. But initially, the first thing in my mind would be, is my family okay? That's all I care about, is just getting out safely. And I've said it before, I don't think I'd step foot in this room if there was a fire. I would just be like, okay, get Edward, make sure that hubby is with me. We get our bug out bags. Some of them are in the Jeep or in my car, and then we're gone. And it is what it is. You know, I think that if any one of my family members, if they needed money and if I had the opportunity to give them that money by selling my handbags, I would sell each and every one of my handbags in a heartbeat. And if the handbags were gone because of this, that, or the other, like I've said before, I would be, you know, kind of sad, but ultimately the memories that I've made with those handbags or where I acquired them, as I said previously, those no one will ever take away from me because I hold them near and dear to my heart. So handbags are great. But to me, family is absolutely everything. So I personally don't consider myself materialistic. Someone else might, but I don't see it that way. So, all right, number 10. Have you had any problems with your agenda? How long have you had it? I answered, nope, they are holding up nicely. I think at the time I had 2 PM agendas, 2 small agendas. I had an epi, no, I had 3. I had the epi, I had the vernis, and I also had the monogram in the small size, and I had 1 GM. Now I only have 2 GMs, and they are still holding up very, very nicely. I use my GM every single solitary day for work, so it's a great, great agenda. Okay, number 11. Do you rotate your bags depending on your outfit of the day or occasion or weekly? Which one do you find yourself using more often? I answered, I rotate to get an even patina. I rotate twice a week. Rain is a factor, and if so, I stick to Damier Ben. Most often used my Neverfull MM and the Damier Azur. Neverfulls for sure. Okay, and do I rotate my handbags? Do I rotate them depending on the outfit of the day, occasion, or weekly? I do. I no longer rotate them for an even patina because all of them, for the most part, do have that honey golden color, which I'm really excited about. But that does add to acquiring that honey golden patina by being able to rotate them evenly. So I wanted to throw that out there just in case. As far as rotating them twice a week, I think I mostly rotate them every single day. Sometimes I get a little bit stir crazy. It all depends on what it is that I'm doing. And if it is raining, I most definitely end up sticking to Damier Ben. I don't want to have to think twice about it. Other times I'll end up going for caviar leather as well, just because, you know, nothing ends up happening to it. And my most used is, or was, my Neverfull MM and Demi Azur. At the time it was. Now I think it might be the, it's still the Chanel medium large, just because, like I said earlier, I love that bag. I use it often. And I'd have to say probably second in place is going to be, where did I should have brought it out, but my Palm Springs mini backpack. I use that thing to death. To death. For as long as I've had it, I've used it quite a bit. Okay, next one. Can you please do a Louis Vuitton collection, but not yours, your husband's if he has one? I answered, hubby doesn't own any luxury goods. That has changed. That definitely has changed, because hubby has 3 Louis Vuitton items, maybe 4 Louis Vuitton items, 2 pocket organizers, a signet ring, and I thought he had something else. Maybe not. Am I crazy? Maybe. Yeah, so it would be a very, very quick collection video, but he has officially come over to the dark side. And you know what I love about it the most is that when we go into the boutique, if I'm looking at something, he will go over to the men's section and I see him looking at shoes, I see him looking at sunglasses and belts, and I'm just like, oh, I see you. I see what you're doing. See, it's not that bad, is it? You know? And then when I catch him, he's like, oh, I'm just wasting time over here. No, not wasting time. What does he say? I'm just buying time, just sitting around waiting for you. I'm like, I don't think so. Because if you didn't like it, you wouldn't show the slightest bit of interest. And I know when you're interested, type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, 13. What are your designer purchases that you regret buying? Would you do anything different? As I said before, my answer was the croissant bag. And what would I do different? Research the bag, test it out with the boutique, try your items inside and see how it fits. So once again, I don't regret buying anything because it pinpoints what works out for me the most. And what would you do different? Research the bag. I didn't always research everything, and I think that's probably, you know, years ago when I was buying just to buy, and I would get excited. I would never use the items, or I'd use them for like a hot second, and then I figured, okay, this doesn't end up working out for me. So I'm super happy that I have stuck to that all these years moving forward to research the bag. But even then, you can research a bag as much as you possibly can, but until you physically have it in your hands and until you actually get to experience it, it might end up being completely different. You might have an idea as to how it might end up working out for you, but until you actually go out there and try it out, it's a little bit different. But I will go into the boutique 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It doesn't matter. For me, I want to know as much as I possibly can about the handbag before I decide to move forward. I try to get as many opinions. I try to get as many points of views as possible. I like to look at wear and tear videos, especially. Another thing that I like to do as far as research goes, I like to go onto the pre-loved market because it really shows you some of the beauty marks that maybe are very common that happen with that bag as time goes by. Like, for example, if it starts to slouch on the sides, or if it gets, I don't know, if the hardware ends up rubbing on the vachetta or whatever the case may be. I just think that research is imperative for myself when it comes to handbags. But that's not to say that sometimes I go out there and just willy-nilly buy something. You know, I still have those tendencies from time to time, but for the most part, I think that research is key when it comes to handbags for myself. So yeah, still kind of half see it that way. 14, what the heck do you do for a job to be able to afford such expensive items? At the time I worked retail. It was not a glamorous job whatsoever. I no longer work in that job, but I mean, I had such a great time working for that company. At times it was just like a huge family. I do miss it. I miss the people more than anything, but the work was extremely demanding, and I was okay with that just because I've been working since I was really young. Yeah, no longer working at retail. Now I do bookkeeping and I do finances for company, and I really like it. And I love the fact that I have the possibility to work from home. So most of the time I am here, and it makes it a lot easier to just be able to relax. But at times that can also be extremely demanding. There are certain times of the year when I am just bombarded with what I need to do, and it gets a little crazy. I think that also adds to the stress, or the fact that I have the insomnia. Maybe, I don't know, but no longer work in retail. Okay, and the last question was, what do you think about Loving My Bags by Barbara? I answered, I am not a fan of products for leather. I like the natural patina. I think that the water spots or stains that I get on my vachetta tell stories. I love the fact that I still think this way. But as far as products on leather, it's not for me. I know that a lot of people have had great success with Loving My Bags. There is one thing that I did get from the company, which was the, what are they called? Like the bag candies. Those bag candies, you put them inside of your handbag to be able to absorb like cigarette smoke or any type of musty odor. And that, I mean, they really, really work. I had a great experience with them. I don't know if they're available anymore, but I think that they're great. But as far as protecting the leather and things like that, I don't end up doing it. I like the natural patina, and I've said it before, the oils in your hands end up doing all the work for you. So yeah, but as far as the water spots or the stains that tell stories, absolutely, because no other handbag will have the same beauty marks that your bag has. So those are the questions for our Minks Monday Q&A number 1. What do you guys think? Do you think that I have changed in the 4 years? I am happy to see that I am a lot more thorough when it comes to questions. You know, like I said before, back then I was just like, yes, no, I wouldn't do it. It's not for me, blah, 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 move forward. I would go through questions like crazy. And now I try to give as much information. I try to be a little bit more detailed because I know that when I ask a question, I want to know kind of like the who, what, where, and why type of thing, not just a because type of answer, you know what I mean? So I'm happy that I spend more time on the questions because I truly want to be able to help you guys as much as possible. I'm also happy to see that my tastes have changed over time, and it's nothing to really get beaten up over because that's okay. That's part of life. You know, what you liked once, you know, back then might not necessarily end up working out for you now, or, you know, vice versa. And taste change, you evolve, and I'm happy that I have eaten my words on some things and others I still stick to. All right, so now that we have revisited the past, let's jump into this Minks Monday Q&A. All right, starting with the first question from Genesis Garcia. Ever since I developed an interest in luxury handbags, I knew I wanted an Alma BB. However, every time I save enough money to buy it, I end up going for other bags because I can't decide which Alma BB I want. The Alma BB makes my heart sing, as you would say. I am torn between the Noir or Indigo in Epi leather, the Damier Ben or the Amarant in the Vernis leather. I know some people would say buy all 3, but I only want 1. Without worrying about resale value, which one would you choose? All right, so we have a little bit more eye candy. Here is my Alma BB in the Damier Ben. I love this bag, and even though it is small, it still packs a punch. Now, for myself, without worrying about resale value, which one would I choose? I think it would have to be between the Damier Ben or the Noir in the Epi leather. And the main reason I say that is because they are incredibly, incredibly carefree, and both of them can transition from day to night very, very easily, and you can incorporate them into various aspects of your life. If you do love the color blue, then by all means go for the blue, but I just like the fact that black is universal and it goes with anything. At least that's how I see it. Same thing goes for this one. I love the fact that you do have that red interior. Now, I will have to say that if you do have lighter colored small leather goods that you're going to be using inside of your handbag, the red, it is gorgeous, but sometimes it does transfer onto those lighter small leather goods. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind. And I am a big, big fan of Vernis. I think it's beautiful. They capture the colors perfectly, but the fact that you can see fingerprints drives me crazy, and the fact that you can also get color transfer very easily also drives me nuts. So ultimately, if I had to go for one, you know, out of the ones that you suggested, I would either go for the Damier Ben or for the Epi Noir, just because I think they're a little bit more versatile and you can incorporate them into more aspects of your lifestyle. But either one, whichever one you go for, go to the boutique, have them all out there. If you have the opportunity to do that, and then just go from there and start to do the pros and cons on each one. What you like about something, what you don't like about something, and then go for the one that you're just like, okay, this is the one I keep going to, this is the one I keep going to, and go for it, you know? So hopefully that was able to answer your question. All right, next one from Shirley. What are your thoughts on using Chanel bags with a double C hardware while on vacation? Is it too flashy? Do you feel it could make you a target for pickpockets? This is an awesome question, and when it comes to Chanel bags and the double C hardware while on vacation, I do end up using my wallet on chain the most when I travel, but I will have to say I like it because I specifically end up using this one the most just because I do find it to be a little bit more inconspicuous. I like the fact that I can put this underneath my coat, I can put it underneath whatever it is that I'm wearing, and I end up kind of flipping it this way, so just that way the back pocket is facing outwards if I don't have the opportunity to necessarily hide it underneath my clothing. But as far as it being too flashy, I think when it comes to pickpockets, they're everywhere. They could be anywhere. I know that sometimes if you go somewhere where there's a lot of tourists, it could be a little bit more prone to happening there. And because of the monograms or because of the hardware that they might have, if it's a little too big, I know I personally feel uncomfortable if I do have something that adds that much attention. So that's why I like to go for something a little bit smaller and something that I can really end up hiding underneath my clothing so I feel more comfortable. I don't try to carry too much with me when I'm traveling as it is. I just end up having the bare essentials. That way it makes it a little bit easier to maneuver through crowds or whatever the case may be. So as far as larger handbags, I know some people do it and they have had great success and they don't have any problems or anything like that, and I think that's awesome. But for me personally, I like to go for something a little bit smaller and very inconspicuous, so it gives me a little bit more peace of mind whenever I am traveling. So great question, and hopefully I was able to answer it. All right, next question from Callie Springer. Hopefully I said that correctly. In one of your most recent videos, particularly the unboxing of your Louis Vuitton Toiletry 19, I couldn't help to notice that your 19 that you purchased in the boutique came with a Sku number. I recently purchased my 19 from a Louis Vuitton boutique near me, and mine did not come with a Sku number inside the packaging like yours did. Should I be concerned? Should all purchases from Louis Vuitton come with a Sku number in the packaging? This is an awesome question. I do get asked this quite often, and from what I have been told, it all depends. It's kind of like that same case-by-case scenario, but my sales associates have told me that they are supposed to keep it for their own records, for their own needs, and we are just supposed to really end up getting the textile card. Anytime you buy something, you always end up getting the textile card. Some people do end up getting the Sku number and other people don't, but it's nothing to be concerned over, not at all. I know back in the day they always used to incorporate the Sku number, and I think they've gotten a lot more strict as time goes by, and now they say that they end up keeping it. Sometimes you'll also see the Sku left on some of the dust bags. So if anything, I would consider it a bonus whenever you get the Sku, but it's nothing, you know, if you don't end up getting it, it's not bad by any means whatsoever. But as long as you get the textile card, then that's something that, like I said before, that they try to make sure is in each and every packaging whenever you do get the item. There have been times when I've gone into the boutique and as I'm looking at the item, there's a Sku, there's a textile card. Sometimes they'll have two different Sku cards in there. They'll say the same thing, but they'll be different. And then when I go home to unbox it, that same Sku number is no longer there. So as I said before, they end up keeping it for their records from what I was told. So if you do get it, if you don't get it, it's just considered a bonus, I would have to say. But as long as you do get the textile card, you should be okay. But fantastic question, and hopefully I was able to answer it. But actually, let me just add something else. If any of you guys have different information from your sales associates, let us know in the comment section down below, because you know, it could be, you know, just an oversight that happened even with textile cards, but I would still like to know what you guys have experienced. Okay, next one from Elaine M. Rodriguez Gonzalez. Hopefully I said it correctly. I have the Chanel Classic double flap in the medium size. I want to buy the Chanel GST, but I don't know if it's too big for me. I'm 4'10". Can you put them together and compare them to see the size in difference? I want to have an idea before I spend the money. I really want that bag. Okay, so I do have the medium large here, and here is the GST. It's packed right now, so sorry if I hurt your guys' ears. So here I'm going to put them side by side so you can check them out. As you can see, it is a lot larger than the medium large, and even if I go side by side, it's a lot wider as well. I personally don't think that this would be too overwhelming for your body frame. I think it would end up working out just fine. And it also has a very, in my opinion, it does have a generous strap drop. It's not, even though it looks like it's small, it's actually very comfortable. So I end up using it on my shoulder and it ends up working out okay. And I'm 5'5". So I think it'll be okay, just because it is a tote, so it's supposed to be somewhat bigger, but the medium large is considerably smaller. So hopefully that visual was able to help, but let me just also do this so you can see them. I know that they're stuffed. I'm so sorry. It makes it look kind of, I don't know, messy or whatever. But there you go. So in this one, you're gonna be able to fit a lot more than you would on the medium large. Okay, and next one from Go Turtle 157. Question: I have an older Louis Vuitton handbag with damaged vachetta. I was quoted around $800 to replace it by the sales rep. I don't want to pay that much. I was able to find someone outside of Louis Vuitton to replace it for about $150. They were referred to me by someone reputable. This worked for me because I was going to get a design painted on it anyways. I see a lot of customized Louis Vuitton bags on Pinterest, and I love the individuality that they add to the bag. Do you think that you would ever do this, or have you seen any bags you thought looked like something you would buy? Fabulous question. And would I end up customizing a Louis Vuitton handbag? What do I think? I also agree with you. I love the fact that it adds a lot more personality to the handbag. And yes, this is something that I would definitely do. I have seen a lot of different designs out there that I appreciate. I think that they're really great, but ultimately I would end up going for something that that is very personal, especially if it's a handbag that I know I will never ever get rid of. You know, even if it has all the beauty marks in the world, by just trying to revive it away, by giving it another chapter in its life, by adding a paint or a picture to it or a painting to it, I think would be amazing. Sometimes I have thought about possibly getting like an Eiffel Tower. Other times I thought about getting the fleur-de-lis. You guys know how I feel about the fleur-de-lis. Or other times I'm like, what if I get Edward's face on my Louis Vuitton Neverfull in the Demi-Azur? I have officially, I'm not going to replace the leather on that bag. I'm not going to do anything to that bag. It'll just be with me till the bitter end. So if I was to incorporate his picture or his portrait on there, I think it would be amazing. So yes, I am all for adding a painting to a handbag that you know you will never get rid of. But if there's still that slight thing where you're just like, maybe I should keep it, maybe I shouldn't, I would wait until you're like, no, for sure, 100%, I'm gonna keep this bag, till forever. So great question, and hopefully I was able to answer it. Are these balloons even sadder? I feel like they're drooping even more. Like they're like, we give up. I don't know. Anyways, moving forward with K Love Bags. I am planning to get the Mon Mono on a classic Speedy. I am contemplating if I should get the 25 or the 30. I currently have the classic 30 in both monogram and Demi-Azur. I don't want to have multiple Speedies in the monogram and 30. If I get the 30, I might sell my current one. I don't know, I'm all over the place, ha ha ha. Can you please give me advice in regards to this? Absolutely, I know exactly what you're talking about. All right, so you wanna get the Mon Mono Classic and you don't know if you should get the 25 or the 30 and you already have a monogram 30. So you might sell it, you don't know. What I will tell you from experience, here is my Mon Mono and the Classic 30. I can't remember the last time that I used this bag, and the main reason that is because of the 25 bandolier. So even though this is a bandolier, and even though this is the 25 and this is the Classic 30, I find that I still end up gravitating towards this one because it is still a Speedy and it is still monogram. So I don't know if that might end up happening to you as well. So if you wanted a little bit more variety, I would go for the 25 and keep the monogram 30, but just know that that is a possibility that you might end up gravitating towards one more than the other, and the other one might end up sitting on your shelf. So I purposely wanted to give this one a little bit more love. I think it is a beautiful bag. I like the fact that it does have my initials, and it also has the two colors that I'm crazy about, but I just noticed that whenever I want to use a monogram Speedy, I end up going for this one because I can just end up taking off the little, the little strap, and then just use it that way if need be. So again, if you want a little bit of variety, I would go for the 25, but whichever one you decide to go for, when you go into the boutique to do the Mon Mono, I would take all of your items and see which one it works out with the best, because like I said, even though the 25 is a little bit smaller, you can still end up carrying the exact same items that you do in your 30 that you do in your 25. I mean, unless you have like a sweater, if you have a scarf, something that's a little bit bulkier in addition to your items. But for me, I just noticed that I ended up just sticking to one, and I kind of knew that. I kind of knew that in the back of my mind. I think I even talked about it on a couple different videos when I was looking at the 25 bandolier, that there was that possibility that I would completely just stop using the Classic 30, or the Classic 30 and the Mon Mono. I don't see myself ever getting rid of it. There was a time when I'm like, maybe I should, but like I said, I like the colors. It has my initials, and that one I think I might end up dubbing it into a forever bag, just because, I mean, what am I gonna do? Get rid of it and then it has my initials? No way, you know, I want to keep it. It's special to me. So yeah, I would just do that. Go into the boutique, see which one ends up working out best for you. You never know. You might end up loving the Mon Mono Classic 30 and then you sell your other one. That way you're only left with one and you don't have to worry that a bag is just going to sit on the shelf unused. So fantastic question, and hopefully I was able to help. And the last question from Marcella York. What was Minnie's dream/goals when she was younger? What advice would you give to young Minnie? What kind of dance do you prefer? How many pets have you had, and where do you see Minnie in the future? Okay, so what were my dreams and goals when I was younger? It's kind of hard to say because I was all over the place. That's no surprise, right? I wanted to be a princess. I wanted to live in a castle. I wanted to be like Rapunzel and have this long, long hair. So for the longest time, I never cut my hair when I was, or my mom never cut my hair when I was younger. You know, because I would just sit there and, you know, say like Rapunzel type thing. And I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer. I actually had a briefcase and I had a bunch of items inside that I can set up for like my law office. You know, my mom would play pretend with me and I'd give her, yeah, I'd consult her or whatever it was, you know, and I've always appreciated that profession. I never ended up going for it, but that was something that I always wanted to do. I still have that briefcase. I still have a little paperweight that says the law offices and my name on there. Yeah, it's pretty nuts, but yeah, lawyers, I've always been a huge, huge fan of lawyers. All right, and what advice would I give to young Minnie? Well, I would say to just dream as big as you can and just keep going and keep going and keep going and never give up. I would also tell young Minnie not to give someone else the power to dull your sparkle. I was bullied when I was in middle school, and it was the worst 3 years of my life. I hated it, and I gave a lot of credit to what the bullies were saying, and I would believe what they were saying. I would believe what they would say about me, and it made me feel really bad about myself. And I just gave too much power to someone that was trying to harm me, to someone that was trying to be very, very mean. And in a way, as weird as it sounds, I'm kind of glad that I went through that, because now I realize that it doesn't matter what anybody else says. As long as you know, as long as you feel in your heart what makes you happy, what makes your heart sing, then that's the only opinion that matters. And not to give anybody else that much power over you when they're trying to be mean to you, or when they're trying to make you feel bad about yourself. Anybody that tries to make you feel like you're not good enough, you should never give them the power to have that strength over you. And I did, and like I said, it was a horrible, horrible time. So I would just say, as long as you keep doing you, you dance to the beat of your own drum. And if someone else doesn't like it, if someone else is going to make fun of you, just say, you know what, you do you, I do me, and we move on from there. What kind of dance do I prefer? I really like, I like the kind of like intimate dancing, you know, not like, not the middle school side-by-side type of dancing, but just holding one another type of dancing I really like. And other times when I'm at home, I just like to let loose, and I'm all over the place. Sometimes I feel like I look like Elaine from Seinfeld when she dances. If you guys are Seinfeld fans like I am, you know, she does this weird type of dance. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like that, but I just let loose and I enjoy every single solitary moment when I listen to music. How many pets have I had? A ton. a ton. I had bunnies when I was younger. They were eaten by a snake. That's why I do not like snakes, besides other reasons, but they eat my bunnies. I've had lovebirds, canaries, chickens, goats. I had one dog when I was a lot younger, and as an adult, I've had Diesel, Kane, Brutus, Sandy, Edward. I've had 5 dogs. So yeah, no, well, we kind of had a cat for a little bit. It was a kitten. His name was Snowflake. He was not nice. He was not nice. I don't think cats and I really get along. He chewed up my shoes and he chewed up one of my Coach handbags. So my hubby actually ended up giving it to his best friend, and they still have the cat. But yeah, we've had, I've had personally a lot of pets, and I've always been that person. I absolutely love animals. All right, and where do you see Minnie in the future? I have no idea. I have no idea. I try to take one day at a time and enjoy each and every day like it's my last. In the future, I think, I don't know. It's just, like I said, I try to take it day by day, and I'm very hopeful, and I have a lot of hopes and dreams that things will happen, and if they don't, they didn't happen for a reason. But yeah, take each day, day by day, as if it's your last, and that's exactly what I do. And make sure also to tell those people that you love around you, let them know how much they mean to you, because you never know. So, all right, you guys, so that does it for Minks Monday Q&A 200. I was really hoping that Edward would end up coming in here, but obviously that didn't end up working out. But again, thank you guys so much for sticking with me all these years. I mean, it has been so incredibly fun to cover so many different topics, and just to be able to get your perspective, to get your opinion. And not only that, the fact that you guys take the time to watch this video and to comment or whatever it is, I cannot thank you enough. And this is one of my favorite videos to film, and I strongly feel that it's one of my favorites because of the connection that we have. You know, I feel like we are one big happy family. I give my opinion, you give your opinion, you give your perspective, and just the comment section is so incredibly loving. It's just such a great vibe whenever I go into the comment section, you know what I mean? And I just feel like I'm chatting with friends, just sitting down, having a cup of coffee, having a cup of tea, or whatever it is. So I love these videos. And based on what you guys said last week, you have spoken, and I will continue Minks Monday Q&A. Absolutely. I can't see my channel without Minks Monday Q&A. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to try to do other videos and try to expand my content, but I think that this is a staple to my channel. And like I said, I really enjoy just being able to get to know to get to know you guys. But I will take either 2 to 3 weeks off. I was thinking about like closer to 3 weeks, but I have a feeling I might come back sooner just because I can't stay away. So don't be surprised if you see me sooner, but Minks Monday isn't going to go anywhere. I got a lot of suggestions if I can incorporate topics in the comment section down below. I already do that. So if you guys didn't know that, I always try to put the topics in the description box below. I usually end up putting 5 topics, but now moving forward, I'll try to put every single topic in there. That way it makes it easier when you guys research for handbags, or if you want to get my thoughts on whatever the case may be. So I will make sure and put those in there. What else? If you guys have other suggestions for Minks Monday, let me know in the comment section down below. But I love you guys so much. You are the highlight. You are the highlight of my Monday. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the red button down below and hitting that bell so you're notified when I upload videos, which is anywhere from 2 to 3 times a week. And for this week's lineup, I do have an unboxing. And after that, I don't know if I have another video, just because I have a little bit going on with work. But I will see you guys in 2 to 3 weeks, and I look forward to the topics that we will discuss. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not. The choice is yours. Have a great day.